This event has been convened in commemoration of Women's Month and International Women's Day by my office, which is the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Citizenship and Leadership, so that we can examine young women's leadership across different sectors, politics and governance, business and tech, and then youth and student-led movements, to ensure that we're taking an informed perspective towards empowering our young women in each of these areas. The reason I focused on young women is because my office is domiciled in the Ministry of Youth. So it is a youth-focused office, and that's why I have to work on young people. So whatever it is that I'm doing, all my programs are targeted at young people, but this is being done separately in commemoration of Women's Month because it's Women's Month. So just to ensure that we're also working to engage our young women. So we're not writing anyone off, it's just my office is focused on young people, and that's why we're centering on young women for this.
This program means everything. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And when you have a conference like this talking about young women leadership, then you know that Nigeria is in for serious business. What we have heard here today, what we have learned here today, the information that we have given out, the lessons that we have learned, they are remarkable and priceless. And I'm sure that this will be a pedestal for growth for every woman, young woman who has attended this event today.
It means a lot. It's a change. And it's something that's supposed to have happened long time ago, because we need to mentor our young girls, not only women, even from the age of 18. It should be brought on board so that they will know that leadership is for everybody. If you are not a leader as a woman, you cannot even run your house. So all these skills must be acquired from the young age. And if we are not being given the opportunity to be a leader, there's no way we can participate and solve problems that women are facing. When you look at what is happening in Nigeria today, most of our women are the ones undergoing a lot of economical and political crisis in terms of taking care of our children, insecurity, and what have you. So when we are given the opportunity to lead, to have leadership positions in the government, in area councils, in the state, we are going to really make a lot of impact. And we must be deliberate about it. We must have the intention to be leaders. If we don't have that intention, there is no way we can be carried along. So my coming here today is an eye-opener, and I want to encourage the young ones that this is just a starting point. They have a good life ahead of them, but they must be ready to do the work. They must be ready to be mentored. They must be ready to follow the leaders and know the intrigues of politics, to know the intrigues of leadership, and to learn. Just like you going to school, you have to learn before you can lead. So when they are equipped, and I also appreciate this government for bringing young girls, young women into power in this our present dispensation. It's a very, very laudable event.
I feel like this is a stepping ground for me personally. I've come here and I've learned more, and I've even unlearned some things. Basically, I've come to find out that as women, we have to do more. We have to step up, we have to be intentional, and we have to beautify the corridor. Because by the time the opportunity comes and meets that the corridor is very, very much prepared, then opportunities will be very, very endless for me.
It's a jailbreaker because we women, the affirmative action is something we've been gunning for, and over the years, so many of our mothers, so many of our founding women who have represented in different walks of life have come into hem of affairs and are still breaking ceilings. And so this conference is like more of it an eye opener and networking strategy for most of us as young women to actually synergize and bring our best with our differences from different walks of life and our experiences coming together to have a singular voice of saying we could do better, we could have much more women representatives in the national level, and this is what this conference is all about for me.
As a young woman, it means a platform for young people to learn and also grow in their leadership careers and also in the political sphere. And I think for me, right now, the program has lived up to what I looked at it to be. So, yes.
So far, I am taking back with me to be active in grassroots politics because I am very passionate about politics. I'm also taking back with me that I need to be involved in everything that concerns nation building as a woman, because I need to be very much involved and train myself for it.
It means a lot to me because it creates a lot of awareness for young ladies that want to be involved in politics or are looking for something to pursue. So it's very inspirational and it's very encouraging, especially hearing from women from different roles in leadership and governance and politics. So I think it's very inspiring, and we need more of this so that our young women would not say they don't know where to start from or who to be with.
One of the key things we got at this conference today are key recommendations that young persons can run with. So one of the key recommendations is that young persons who are taking up leadership positions already in higher institutions have an inroad into politics, and they must not necessarily wait to go into high level, that's national politics, but we have upcoming local government elections where they could also test their skills. A lot of recommendations has been made to them as to what they should be doing and how they should be going about it. So for me, it's something for them to run with. You already have local government elections coming. Instead of waiting for state houses of assembly elections or national assembly elections, why not go and test your skills at the local government elections, and then of course you would have built your skills and take it up all up to the point where you get to national elections.
It's an event organized for young women, but again, some of the issues that has been discussed in this particular event is very topical and very germane. For instance, the conversation around corruption and gender was a thing of interest to me personally, to see the disaggregation and of course to see the understanding among young women about corruption especially in public institutions. So it's very important, although I'm a man, but of course the conversation was very interesting to see the perspective of women as they discuss corruption in public institutions in Nigeria.
For me, it means women are important to the society. It also means that we are not being neglected in the society. We are being seen as an integral part of grooming our society and making the society better. And I am here because we were asked to volunteer, and I volunteered to be part of this conference.
You can see that people came from different states. Yes. It's just because of the time that we did not bring men, and some of these things on Zoom. We have told them that they should take back what they have learned today, that all governors of all the 36 states must establish a leadership center for young girls, even for the men, because we cannot leave the men behind. They have to be carried along, because these same women will live with the men. So all state governments, we have told the special assistant to the president that there must be a kind of deliberate action on this. They must all go to the state and implement a leadership center where this information will be passed to them. So by the grace of God, before the end of this year, you will see that the people in your area councils, in your local government, in the state, they will be inspired and they will be encouraged to participate in politics and to accept the literate ones to come and bring what is better on table for them. They should not be deceived by just political office holders, but people that will impart on them. So definitely, this is just a starting initiative. It's the first of its kind, and I know it's going to go down to all state and local government very, very soon. So
first and foremost, I want to personally take this as my own personal project to disseminate information to my friends, because I've heard a lot of things here which I know that 50% of my friends, they are not aware. They're not aware of the credit facilities that have been mentioned in this conference. They're not aware of other opportunities for young SMEs, and I think it is something that I need to do. Secondly, I want to go back to grassroots and interact with the people in the grassroots and understand what other people are going through. Because right now, I may not say I want to contest or I want to go for any position, but I think for me, leadership is more than that. Leadership means serving people. For me, I think leadership means doing the right thing. And I want to start with my group of friends. I want to start with the people around me. I want to start with the grassroots. I want to be the change that we're looking for in the leaders. And I want to start today.
The rural woman who doesn't have access to YouTube has something significant to contribute to Nigeria. You must understand that there is power in what you can do, in the kind of skills that you possess. I recall this beautiful, vibrant woman that does Adire, Adenike, I believe. She's elderly. Adenike, who knew that the kind of skill that she had in doing Adire would become something that is globally recognized? So for a rural woman who is somewhere in Abeokuta, whose only skill is Adire making, you have a role model in Adenike. I hope I pronounced her name right. You have a role model in Adenike. You have a role model in a lot of women who are CEOs of farming organizations or companies. So it doesn't start or end at the farm or on the farm. You can process your goods. You can take them along that entire value chain, and the sky is your limit.
We can do better. There's room for improvement, and that's what I would just say. There's room for improvement. We can be better.
The message I have for women is never to be discouraged. Always be courage. Always have courage to be involved. Don't complain at the corners when things are happening or things are going wrong. Ask yourself, what contribution have you made? From there, when you start asking yourself, not blaming others, then you start to stand up for yourself, start to stand up and make a change.
For a long time, we've usually had conversations around women's political participation, but we've never really had very serious conversations around young women's political participation. And that's very critical ahead of 2027, because if you look at the current members of the National Assembly, we have just 19. But there are questions around the fact that out of the 19, what's the proportion of young women in the National Assembly? The same thing applies to the state assemblies as well. So when you also go to the state assemblies, you have 56 women of over 900. But then again, what's the disaggregation in terms of the number of young persons? We do know that there are few, just a minute. I think if we have to put it in percentage, it is barely 0.5. And for us, given the fact that there's a not too young to run bill that was signed in 2018, the question is, have we as young persons been engaging this bill to run for elected positions? And if not, what are the issues? If we have and we have not been winning elections, what are the challenges and what's the way forward? This is the administration of renewed hope. Hope is not lost. There are many of us who are in government, women like yourself, who are working assiduously to ensure that we have a system that works for everybody. We have a president who is very gender sensitive, and it's why initiatives like this have come on board, and we are here to ensure that the voices of women, of young people, of Nigerians generally, of our fathers, our husbands, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our friends, our daughters, our children, the voices of Nigerians, we're here to ensure that your voices are heard and amplified in all the rooms that matter, and that policies are designed with you in mind to be made impactful, to be made beneficial, and that we have a country that works for all.
It becomes the responsibility of everybody, not just the government, to make sure that this message is preached across. Awareness creation is very key. Civil society organizations, individuals will have to talk to one person, we can talk to another person to educate ourselves about the importance of women participation in governance, not just in politics, in governance, in the complete set or cycle of governance. So it's very important that every individual sees it as an assignment to talk to one another about women participation.
We could go back to our grassroots. I will use it, Ojuju. Most women are Ojuju. We don't have data, we don't have information, voters card and everything. So we're saying, okay, apart from this facade of being beautiful, well-educated, let's go back to our villages. Let's go back to our homes. Let's go back and preach that message of you could also be enlisted. You could come into the database, get your voters card, get your names, get your every criteria that makes you recognized as a Nigerian. So it's one thing. You and I can do this. Let's take the message back home.